morning. Mary here with High Song Grows, and so I'm gonna show you a cheese experiment I've been doing for a while now. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is I am gonna skim a little bit of the cream that has come up off the goat milk. These jars are only 4 or 5 days old, but my refrigerator is running a little bit too warm, and my girls are making a ton of butterfat right now, and so we do get a little bit of cream. So, and as much milk as I have, yes, it is totally worth it for me to just skim it and put the jars in the freezer. I always do straight-sided jars, no shoulders, when I'm going to put things in the freezer. And then when I get several pints, I can make some butter or some ice cream and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing right this minute, and I'll be right back. So I do have a real thick bottomed pot, and I have my burner started on a low heat to start warming the milk up. We want the milk to come up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which, if I remember right, is like 30 degrees Celsius. And I only know that because it's both things are on my thermometer. Well, this is the original culture that I started with. It does make a soft Chevre style cheese, and I used, I think it was about 2 packets of this in 2.5 gallons of milk or thereabouts, and then I'll show you what I've been doing ever since. So what I did after, when I made that first batch of cheese, was I saved some whey, and I have been labeling them number 1, number 2, number 3. This is number 4. So this is whey made from the 4th batch or 4th generation from the commercial package. And this has actually been in the refrigerator a couple of weeks now because it's been a little bit since I made that, but it has stayed really good. It is, there's no mold or anything like that. And my refrigerators have not been staying super cold. They have been running like 40, 45 the last couple of weeks. There's a little excess cream that floated to the top. And it's a very mild but tangy flavor. And that's what we're going to use to culture this pot of cheese today. And that's all I have done was the first batch. As I drained it, I saved a quart of whey and put it in the refrigerator. I used that to make a batch. I saved a quart of whey and put it in the refrigerator, so on and so forth. I'm thinking, if you made cheese really regularly and took care that it didn't get contaminated with any bad bacteria, you could probably continue doing this forever. Alrighty, I got probably almost 3/4 of a pint of cream off of 3 gallons of milk. That's not too bad. Of course, there is still a lot of cream left in the milk. The cheese will be creamy. It will be delicious. If I had a cream separator, yes, of course, we could take all the cream out and just have skim milk, which is okay for some things, but this method works for me. It's easy, it's fast, it's simple for me to do it this way when I'm making a pot of cheese. This is just going to go in the freezer, and then when I get 2 or 3 pints of cream, we'll make a batch of butter. I said that a couple, 3 weeks ago, and what happened was we got sidetracked working on the refrigerators and other adult things, and forgot about it, and it went bad. So it got dumped. So now we're going to hopefully have butter pretty soon. In the meantime, each time I come back and forth in the house, I am checking on the cheese. We are waiting for this milk to reach 86 degrees. So it's got a little ways to go yet. I forgot all about potted cheese. So we are a little too hot. We're at about 95, which is warmer than I wanted it to be. So we're gonna let this sit and cool off for a little bit. Alrighty, we've cooled back down pretty good. Though some of that could have been the thermometer being kind of almost out of the milk. Is that about 90? That's okay. We're in our range. And I'm gonna pour about a pint of our whey into the pot, more or less. And we're gonna let this sit for at least an hour, and then we'll come back and warm it up and add some rennet. Because your commercial packets, those little commercial packets, have rennet already in them. So when you use those, it's a one step. You know, you just warm up your milk, dump your packet in, go away so many hours, come back, and you have a curd to drain for your cheese. When you reuse the whey, there's no rennet in there, so we have to add rennet. So we'll be back. Okie dokie. This was actually almost 90 degrees still from earlier. So I did turn the burner on for a minute, just kind of warmed it up a little bit. I have some distilled water and a little bit less than a quarter of a teaspoon of liquid rennet for this 3 gallons of milk. And I'm gonna pour it over my ladle. And then we're gonna stir it up and down because we want to make sure that the rennet gets all the way to the bottom of the pot and comes in contact, gets mixed in with all of the milk. So, and then we'll cover it back up, wrap it back up in its towel until tomorrow. And then we can drain it and package it up. Okay, this is some kind of contamination. I'm thinking I probably did not disinfect some of my things yesterday. So this pot is gonna go to the chickens. I need to make some cheese, and what you just saw was the last batch I went to make using whey from a previous batch. It did what they call blow. It just swelled up. It was full of gas. It had a nasty smell and yuck. So I still have some of that whey. When I tasted it that day, it tasted perfectly fine. So I don't think it's the whey, but we're gonna taste this whey again. And what I've done is I have sanitized my pot, my thermometer, my ladle, my little bowl that I put the water and rennet in, and I just poured boiling water over this spoon. So there's no moldies or anything in this jar. And that tastes perfectly fine. So I don't think it was the culture. Possibly it could have been some of the milk. That was all the older milk in the refrigerator that's not keeping as cold as it ought to. But it could also have just been something in here in the kitchen that, like I forgot to sanitize something and it had dust or dirt or spider webs or whatever on it. And so I've tried to just pour boiling water over all of the things that I'm going to use right this minute. And we'll see what happens today. Okay, we're at 80 degrees. We want to get to 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the whey in, just because it's cold and I want it to start warming up with the milk the last few degrees here. I do have another jar of whey from the batch before this one. So if this doesn't work out either, then I can go back to the other one. But we'll just keep working at it and cross our fingers. I blew it again. Shh. Oh, I have killed the culture because apparently I forgot to turn the burner off before I went outside. Ay. Okay, so we're just gonna let it sit and cool off and maybe use our other cheese whey that's still in the fridge. Lordy, I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Okay, well, apparently at some point I forgot all about I was gonna make cheese. And then, it got too hot. But it's perfectly cooled down to the perfect temperature. So I'm gonna go get the other jar away. And I think that's a no-go. This jar was made the 13th of April. And it looks a little moldy or yeasty or something. It doesn't really smell bad. It doesn't actually smell moldy. Very sour. It's like a little goaty in the back. But, you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. We're going to try it out. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the rennet in here. And then we'll wrap it in a towel and cover it and let it sit till tomorrow. See what happens. That's about 3.5 gallons of milk. I don't want to do quite a whole 1/4 teaspoon because that makes it too stiff. So this is an 1/8. So I'm going to do a full 1/8 on a couple drops more to give us a soft set. And nothing ventured, nothing gained. Gotta try everything. And then I have to do it again because I'll forget what it was. Oh, whoopsies. Yeah, sitting on the counter, the pot's almost as tall as I am. Alrighty. Making sure the burner is off. We're going to stir up and down, all around. I still got to filter milk and warm bottles and feed bottle babies. And then I'm sure there's something else I ought to do, but I'm too tired to think now. Oh. Alrighty, night-night, cheesy. We'll see you in the morning. Though, at farmer's market in the morning, so I don't know if I'm going to have time. Alright, it's Saturday morning. Million things to do. Gotta get ready and go to market, but the cheese that I set last night is set up beautifully. So the first thing I'm going to do is dip off some whey to save for the next batch. Alright, I'm just going to use my measuring cup and You can see, even though I skimmed a little cream, there's still a lot of cream in here that didn't actually go into the cheese. That's okay. And I'm boiling some water so I can scald my butter muslin and my spatula and stuff, so we don't get any contamination at this stage. And then we'll let it set and drain. Probably take till this afternoon or this evening, just because that's my schedule. Which is one of the reasons that I don't make fancy pressed or aged cheeses, is because I don't have time to stand and watch the pot and stir it and do things all day. Okay, and I need to hurry up because I got to go feed the bottle babies and do all my chores and milk and get ready to go to farmer's market. That's really hot. But I found this at the grocery store the other day. I think it was like for scooping fried foods out of your grease. But I thought, ooh, that might make a good cheese ladle. We're going to try it out. Okay, let's see how good this works. It's working pretty good. Awesome. Okay, this batch of milk could maybe have used a touch more rennet. It's a little bit soft, but that's okay. Okay, most of the curd is out of the pot. There's still a fair amount down on the bottom, but I'm gonna go start doing chores because I gotta get busy and get things done and leave on time, I hope. And at some point I will come back and dump the rest of the curd in there when it's got a little bit more space. Okay, I was putting this video together and I realized I didn't show you the last steps of the cheese. And they're simple and easy. So once the cheese is at the consistency that you want, like whether you want it a little more moist and spreadable or whether you want it a little bit drier because maybe you're going to add it to a salad or use it in baking or something like that, or you're going to use it in recipes where you're going to add more liquid, whatever you like. I usually end up draining mine for 8 to 12 hours because that fits my schedule. And then I just dump it in a bowl. I usually salt my cheese, my Chevre, at about 1 teaspoon of salt for each gallon of milk that I started with, because it'll be usually about a pound of cheese for each gallon, more or less. It kind of depends on the year and the day. I usually use this natural sea salt. It's not iodized. You don't want to use iodized salt in your cheese. It makes it weird. And then I'll put a spoonful in and mix it up really good. And then I will taste it. And then I just pack it into containers. I pack them pretty full to put in the freezer so there's not a lot of air in there. And usually put some in the refrigerator. So you can see this is a little on the drier side. It freezes beautifully. If you, when you thaw it out, sometimes a little bit of whey will separate, and you can either mix it back in or you can drain it off, whatever you want to do. And I'm really liking the flavor of this Fromagina and using the whey. The flavor gets a little bit more pronounced with each batch, but it's a nice flavor. It's not goaty or anything like that. It's just like, I don't have words to describe it. And so a lot of people are like, well, how do you use that Chevre stuff? Well, sometimes I just eat it plain like this, like I would yogurt. Or also like I would yogurt, I might add fresh fruit or fruit syrup or my lemon marmalade or some other thing, honey, maple syrup, sugar, and just eat it like yogurt. I might put some ranch dressing in there until it's thinner and use it like a chip dip. I have used some that was drained way too long and got way too dry and was like a dry crumbly cheese, and I've used that in place of cream cheese making a cheesecake, and that turned out well. I've spread it on toast. I can melt it on toast. It's just kind of like my all-purpose everyday sort of cheese, partly because I don't have time to make fancy cheeses and pressed cheeses and things like that. So anyway, yummies, happy cheesing.